I'd like to talk a little bit about story mapping. At least the term story mapping was kind of coined by Jeff Patton, although he says himself he wasn't the first person to start doing this, but he's certainly popularized the technique. Story mapping it's sort of a two-dimensional product backlog. So it's got a horizontal and a vertical axis. The vertical axis is sort of like your normal backlog where you've got prioritized features and it helps you do progressive elaboration of your requirements. So, towards the top of the thing, we should definitely have our most important user stories that have kind of been broken down to what we think a good story size is. And as you kind of go down, things might be larger features or epics and maybe a little more nebulous in nature and also by definition sort of less important. What story mapping does is we take that kind of vertical stack of work to do and we spread it out as well. And we spread it out by trying to think about how the user is actually going to use our system. So it's a bit of a design technique or a UIX technique, but I think almost anybody can make use of this, and you can actually even use it with with systems type software as well. But kind of from some beginning state to some end state, or any path or flow through the system. What actions and activities are going to happen? So the activities happen over time, and I think part of at least in my mind, why I think of this as a story map is as you have the user stories spread out horizontally and baked down vertically, as you kind of read the top layer of the user stories, you should almost be able to tell a story about what the user is going to do and what the user is going to experience. So it's kind of nice. You find that story maps can be augmented in certain ways. You can draw different lines, and sometimes the lines can help you identify where you want minimal viable products or minimally marketable feature sets can be paired off. They can help you do release planning with those stratifications. Um, you can inject other design components like personas, and you can have different key personas over different areas of activities. So you can see maybe you've got an administration activity, and that's maybe done by some type of systems or back end user, or you've got Lucy the librarian, and she's working on the basics of getting books or something put into a system. So you can have different types of people that focus on different activities across the way. And then, of course, you can do your release planning or your minimal viable product identification by releasing what's important. It's a pretty powerful technique, and I think that everybody should at least try it out, especially if it's something on like a greenfield user-facing application. And that's story mapping.